how much time have we got? And it's a really great question, because if you live your life stressed and annoyed and angry and upset and you get frustrated with people, it feels that life's pretty ordinary and can be really long. If you have when you say, I've had a really long day, well, it actually hasn't been long. It's only been 24 hours. They don't get any longer or shorter. And as I always so logically share, you and I both have 24 hours in a day. We have 168 hours in a week. We have 365 days in a year, and we don't know how many more days, weeks, months or years we've got. And I'm sharing that with you because just outside our house today, literally, there was a serious, the worst kind of car accident. 2 people died, and very close to our home, and it affected our life. It's interesting because people die every day, and people die in car accidents every day, thousands of them all over the world. But we were actually caught in the line of cars that needed to wait to get through. But 2 people had died, and it's made me really aware that those people obviously didn't plan to die today. They were going somewhere. They were on the road, and they were going to see family, or they were going fishing, or they were coming back from the supermarket, or I don't know. But gone, finished, life's over. And that's the reality of life. I can't change that. Now, barring accident, we could probably live to 100, 120. A lot of people share with me they don't want to live that long because they don't want poor quality of life. Well, of course, if you're healthy, fit and strong, you can live a long time, and you can live with great quality of life to well over 100, and then people are doing it in many places around the world. But we could also be gone tomorrow or in the next hour. We don't know. And is it important that we're going to die or that we live? And of course, we're all going to die, but how are we living? With what kind of quality do we wake up at the beginning of the day knowing that our day is going to be? Not knowing that we're going to make it to the end of the day, but how much time do we waste being angry, annoyed, frustrated, all the things that make life really crappy? We tend to waste a lot of time on that stuff. And imagine, and this is the thought that went through my head today, the people that were in the car today that died, what was the last thing they said to their family? What was the last words they used to the person that they love? Who was the last person they cuddled? What was the last great laugh they had? What was the last meal they ate? Did they have a great shower this morning? Did they leave their house angry or happy? And I want to give you a couple of interesting and sad examples of that. I had a very special person in my life whose mother, the last words that she said to his father were angry, horrible, nasty words. And this gentleman he raced cars for a living. He was a professional race car driver, and his wife didn't want him to race cars anymore. And as he was leaving the house to go and race, he was a rally car racer in the bush, and she said some horrible, nasty things to him, and he never came home. He died in a car crash racing. And I'm sharing that with you because that woman was a very bitter and twisted and angry woman for the rest of her life, and I knew her for about 20 years of my life. And she was just, because you can't change that. You can't apologise for that. You can't go back and say, well, we can never go back. We can't change the past. We can only affect what's going to happen in the future. And unfortunately, her future with her partner was it was immediately removed from her life, and she has to now live with for the rest of her life the fact that they broke up. Their lives ended the way they knew it, on angry words. So one of the things that my family certainly taught me, and I know that K-Man's family taught him, and it's something that we talk about all the time, never go to sleep angry, and never leave the house having said anything except I love you. And that's something that K-Man and I do every day, even if he's just going to the supermarket, or I'm going to get my hair cut, or I'm going to walk the dogs. The very last thing we always say to each other before we part is I love you, because you never know if you're going to come back together. And life is a very special gift that we've been given, and I sometimes think we don't treat it with value. And if you then add on top of that you could create not just value for yourself every day, but if you're put on the planet for a reason. And we always at Max talk about this. When you get accepted into the Max International Colleges, we always talk about there's 2 epic moments in your life. The first moment is the day you were born, and of course that's the day you were put on the planet. But the second epic moment is when you find out why. Why were you put on this planet? Why are you here? What differences are you going to make? And I had a second thing I wanted to share with you, that before I found out about the car accident today and before it was part of our life, I was asking one of my students some very special questions, and one in particular, which is, what have you done in your life that you're really proud of? Out of all the challenges and hassles and problems and all this stuff that goes on in life, we're all going to have that, of course, but my question for her today was very specifically, what are you proud of? Of all the moments in your career and your business life, what have you done that you really can look back on and say, wow, look what I did? And we were out walking, and for about an hour, it was such a pleasure to listen to her share with me. She's a sporting coach, and she gave me some of the most beautiful stories of people that she's helped, people that she's inspired, athletes that have achieved things that she's been a part of, mums that competed in sport where their daughter could coach them. Very, very special stories. So my next question is, if you don't know when you're going to die, how are you going to live? And then what value are you going to add to your world every day? So that whether you look back over a week or a month or a year or your lifetime, you've got some things to be really proud of. Not things to be angry about, not things to be disappointed in yourself about, not ugly conversations that you had with somebody. They're all the things that I think waste our time and make our life pointless and meaningless. Why would we be nasty to somebody? Why would we type nasty things on social media? Of course, people are going to have different opinions to us. They're going to vote differently. They're going to have different sexual choices. They're going to have different medical intervention choices. We've all got the right as humans to make the choices that we want, and I'm not sure why the world has become so nasty to be angry with somebody for having a political belief or having a medical intervention belief or having a sexual persuasion that you don't agree with. Wouldn't it be awesome if we just respected each other? We respected ourselves. That'd be nice, wouldn't it? We don't know how long we're going to live for, so why not every single day work out, what can I do today to respect my body, to respect my health, to respect my education so I become a smarter person. And the most beautiful thing that I want to take out of all of the things that have happened today, it's been a very eventful day. So at the end of this day today, there's 2 people that are not going home to their family because they died today. I have a student that's very proud of the things that she's achieved today, and because I asked her about that, she had an opportunity to relive some of the magnificent things that she's done with her life. And I've got a 20-year-old puppy dog, and he's very old, and he's getting older, obviously, like we all are, every day, but his ability to move around and his ability to just live as a happy puppy dog becoming more and more limited. But what he'll be able to do when he goes to puppy dog heaven is he'll go knowing that he's had added massive value to our lives. He's given our life pleasure and laughter and fun and happiness and just beautiful, beautiful experiences just by being himself. And that's what I love about animals. The only time I've ever seen a dog be nasty is if somebody of bad character comes into our lives. And it's interesting because dogs have such a great judge of character. And I've had even the most placid Labradors who have got really angry with people they know are not very nice people. Dogs are they just add so much value to our lives in so many ways. And I don't have tears in my eyes because I'm sad that Brutus is going to die. I'm just so incredibly happy and celebrating that he's been in my life. And those 2 people that died in the car crash today, I hope that their family and the people that were in their lives can celebrate the fact that they were there. And I think that would be difficult, if you've just spent an hour being nasty to somebody on social media, or you've been gossiping about somebody, or you've rung somebody up and been nasty to them. Or like the lady I told you about who didn't want her husband to do what he was passionate about, and she yelled and screamed at him and nagged at him for doing what he loved, and then he didn't come home. So how about we wake up every day wanting to add value to our world, not detract value? Wouldn't it be nice that when people are celebrating our life, because we're all going to die, that they talk about us as somebody who added value to their life that made them feel special? And I think every time a nasty word comes out of your mouth, and every time you post a nasty message, and every time you send a nasty email or a nasty text message, I think that detracts. Another really fun thing that happens to me every week, the Max International Colleges has a newsletter. I put my heart and soul and passion into that newsletter. For a start, there's always 4 or 5 pages of jokes, because I love to laugh, and I would love other people to laugh. So it's that kind of newsletter. There's business tips, there's health and fitness tips, there's life tips, and there's 4 or 5 pages of giggles. And then there's stories about successful Max exercise professionals and business people. And there's the positive, happy things that Max does for the world. So there's information about all the online workshops we do, and all the online and additional education that we give to our students. So I've just wrapped up the newsletter for you. 5 pages of laughter and tips and motivational help and support to have a wonderful life, if you had to. And all bright colours and happy smiley faces. And it goes out every week, and the database is quite large now. We're getting close to the 15,000 people on that database. And every week without fail, and I'm going to share with you what people actually type to me. Without fail, every week, because I laugh about it every week. I'll either get this, take me off your fucking database. Somebody actually types that to me. They with their own fingers and their own brain, they type, take me off your fucking database. And the funniest ones are, stop sending me your happy shit, or I don't want any more of your happy shit. And of course I laugh at that, because I don't have to live in that life. Imagine living in a life where a piece of information comes into your life that's got 5 pages of jokes, a whole heap of fun, happy tips about how to have a successful life, and out of your brain comes, stop sending me this happy shit. And I get to laugh about it, and it doesn't affect me at all. I do feel very sad and sorry for the people that live in a world where receiving fun, happy, positive stuff is something that they want to stop getting in their life. And after today, because the newsletter went out yesterday and today, and I've received a couple of those already today, imagine if that's the last words that you type. Imagine if you type that to Rowie, and then you leave your house and something happens to you, and now your time on the planet is finished. I don't know what you believe in after death, or whether we're reincarnated, or whether we go to heaven, or whether we just go somewhere. I don't know, whatever it is that you believe. There's a lot of people that would share their religious belief is that if that's the last thing that you say on the planet, that it might be a very unfortunate reincarnation. I don't know. I don't have an opinion on that. I just think it would be a very sad way to finish up a life by typing nasty words, or saying nasty things, or gossiping about people, or taking value away from the world. So from my heart to yours, what if we wake up every day respecting ourselves, respecting other people, respecting our world? I have to share with you, again, I told you I had a very, it's been an eventful day. I walked today, if you've ever been to the South Island of New Zealand, and you've been to a beautiful town called Queenstown, and it is on the on the edge of Lake Wakatipu, which is again one of the most beautiful lakes in the world, surrounded by beautiful mountains. And I walked on that lake today for over 3 hours, and New Zealand's a very clean, special, beautiful place. But it seems at this time in history, and I'm talking about 2021, 22, when people have been wearing face coverings Today, if I'd picked up every mask that I saw lying on the ground, I would have come home with a very big plastic bag full of masks. People that are so disrespectful that they take that thing off their face and they throw it on the ground. This doesn't look nice. A blue mask doesn't look nice out in the bushes of the beautiful, clean, pristine, scenic beauty of New Zealand. And I always ask myself, I wonder why people would be so disrespectful to leave their rubbish lying on the ground or to take plastic off their face and put it on the ground. It's funny because in New Zealand, only just in the last few years, they've taken out plastic bags from the supermarket. So it's great. You take your own bags to the supermarket and pack your own shopping in your own bags and you recycle those bags. So we've stopped that plastic process. But now in New Zealand, there's all these blue masks everywhere all on the ground. I'm constantly picking them up because I can't stand it. Interesting, because they're supposed to pick up germs, those masks, and I'm very happy to pick them up, put them in the rubbish bin. That's called devaluing and disrespecting your environment. What do you think? So how about we stop doing that as humans? How about we become respectful, kind, happy, positive people that add value to the world? What if every time, before we type something, before we text, before we send an email, before we talk and say something nasty or negative, how about we think, what if this is the last thing that I would ever say? What if this is the last thing I ever type? Is this what I want to be remembered for? And on behalf of my beautiful puppy dog called Brutus, may, when we go, that people say about us, that person added massive value to my life. They made me laugh, they made me feel special, they made me want to live my life with even more passion and excitement and enthusiasm because they added so much value to my life. Wouldn't that be a beautiful way to be remembered?